Well, hello again. This is Steve, the Indian Nation Piper, and I thought I'd give it a second try on the video. First one took me forever to get edited because I don't know how to do it. I'm not a computer guy, but I wanted to try to make another one and give you just a little bit more information about the channel, about me. I'm smoking my IMP Meerschaum that my youngest son bought for me here a while back. And I've got it loaded with Sam Gawith's Perfection. It's not my favorite tobacco, but it's good. It says it's got a vanilla topping on it, and I figured out I'm not a fan of vanilla, but it's good. And I've let it dry out and let it set for a little while, and most of that vanilla taste is gone. But anyway, I thought I'd give you a little bit of background about how I got started on tobacco, my tobacco history. I heard somebody do that the other day, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So I don't know if you'll think it's interesting or not, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway, if I keep this pipe going. First, first contact I had with tobacco, and I don't recommend this, and as a matter of fact, I advise against it. But it was a different day and a different time. My grandpa, on my mom's side of the family, was an old country preacher and a butcher, had a slaughterhouse. And I used to go with him when I was a little kid to get hogs and cows and things like that. And we just brought a load of something back. I don't remember whether it was cows or hogs or whatever it was. But he had an old Dodge truck that was made to haul livestock in. I don't remember. I think it was about a 47 or 48 if I remember right. And he had the glove box on it just kind of popped back and forth. And he was chewing tobacco that day. And he always chewed tobacco or rolled his own or smoked a pipe, some kind of tobacco. He loved tobacco. And I asked him, I said, "Grandpa, is that chewing tobacco good?" He looked at me and grinned. He said, "Well, yeah, it's good." And I said, "Do you think I could have some of it?" He said, "You want some of it?" I said, "Yeah." So he pulled it out of the glove compartment, and it was in a cellophane bag, and it was an old twist of good money tobacco. I don't know if you know what a twist is, but twist chewing tobacco. It was all twisted up and dry and brown. And he cut me off a little plug of that with his pocket knife, handed it to me. I put it in my mouth like I'd seen him do. Didn't know what to do with it, so I wallowed it around in my mouth for a little bit. And it was absolutely like chewing on a dried out piece of rope. But I got it salivated up a little bit and got it good and juicy. Problem was, I didn't know when to spit. So I swallowed that first big gulp of good tobacco juice that I'd worked up. I was about 6 or 7 years old. I don't remember exactly. That's why I said I don't advise this. I advise against it. But like I say, it was a different time, a different day. And I swallowed that tobacco juice, and you've never seen a kid as sick in your life as I was. And I went running up to the slaughterhouse where my mom and dad were, and they looked at me and they said I was as pale as a sheet and white as a ghost and green around the gills. And they asked me what had happened, and I told them, and they said, "My goodness, I can't believe your grandpa would do that." But oh, I was sick. And you know what? I didn't want anything to do with tobacco for the longest time after that. I wonder why. But I remember in junior high school, a bunch of the boys were dipping Skoal and dipping Copenhagen. And I thought I'd give it a try. I was remembering those days of long ago when I was a little leery, but I tried a dip of that Copenhagen and it was pretty good. But pretty soon my head started spinning and I didn't know whether I was coming or going. But I kind of liked the taste of it, and I dipped Skoal and Copenhagen for a long time. And I thought my dad would be mad at me about it. I didn't know. I was probably I'm just guessing. I was probably 12, 13, 14 years old. And all the advice he ever gave me about it was, don't you bum tobacco off anybody. If you can't afford to buy it, either do without or ask me, but don't you bum any. So I stuck to that. I know that's strange advice, but that was the advice he gave me. See if I can get this pipe going again. Hard to keep pipe going when you're running your gob like that. So anyway, I grew up and started smoking cigarettes for a little while when I was in college. I didn't like it much, but I smoked them for a year or two. And then I quit all kinds of tobacco. I quit everything. And like I said, I didn't get started again until about 1995 when I was in my late 30s, early 40s, and started seminary. Saw those guys smoking. It looked like fun. I wanted to try it, and I did. And I enjoyed it. I did it for a long time. But like I said, all we had was the dime store tobacco, or the pharmacy tobacco, Captain Black, Sir Walter Raleigh, things like that. I didn't enjoy those too much, but my friends, when I would go down, they had a tobacconist there in Texas where I was going to seminary, and they'd buy good tobacco and they'd give me a little bit of it when I went, and it kind of kept me going. And then found out that you could order it online. And you could order pipes online. All I had was an old Dr. Graybo that was absolutely worn out from smoking because I didn't clean it very good. I didn't know anything about keeping it clean or anything like that. I just smoked it and enjoyed it. But by watching YouTube videos and things like that, I got more interested in it. Found out you could order pipes online, and I don't really like to do that, but when you don't have any tobacconists close to you and no pipe stores, then you've got to make do with what you do. So I kind of got started buying pipes, and let me tell you, the pipe acquisition disorder, that PAD, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And so this big old bulldog that my son bought me, I really like it. I like a bulldog. I like a bent bulldog. I like a straight bulldog. I've got several bulldogs. I've got several bent apples, a few straight pipes, billiards and things like that. Straight apples even. I've got some really small junior pipes, and I've got some big pipes like the Sherlock Holmes editions that hold a lot of tobacco. And I've really got can you have too many pipes? I don't know. But anyway, I've got a bunch of them, and maybe someday I'll kind of go through them. But I just wanted to let you know about the channel. I won't always come on here and talk about pipes. Sometimes I've got stories, and I've got a lot of stories, and I don't know if anybody would be interested in them. Some of them pretty funny, some of them pretty strange, and most of them mostly true. But I had an uncle that said the only way you can get people to listen to your stories is if you enlarge them a little bit. And I think that meant fib a little, expand it. I don't know. But one thing about it, he always had people listening to him, always had people gathered around him laughing at his stories. And he said, you boys don't know how to tell a story. You got to enlarge it a little bit to keep people interested. So I'll try to stick to the truth, but sometimes you got to add just a little bit to make it more interesting. I've been watching a bunch of videos of you guys down at Muletown, and it looks like it was a big crowd and a good time. And maybe one of these days I'll get to go to something like that. But for now, I just want to jump on and say hi and try to learn how to sort out this second video and try to get it edited and try to get it uploaded. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, good Lord bless you and keep you. And maybe we'll see you again. Thanks a lot for coming by.